A charcoal grill is what fire officials say caused a deadly fire on Lansdowne Avenue this morning in Warren. 6 people, 2 adults and 4 children killed. The city's fire department says it's the worst fire on record. From Warren, here's Peggy Sinkovich.
And I still can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Edward Bernard says he is numb and still in shock over the loss of his son, Derek Dorsey, Derek's fiancée, Audria Johnson, and his grandkids, Derek Jr. and Ariel, and his other granddaughter, Miracle Hewley, and a cousin, Janice Hicks. Neighbors and friends say the family was in the back here celebrating, having a cookout, just a few short hours before that fire broke out. The state fire marshal's office has determined that the fatal fire was most likely the result of an unattended charcoal grill.
This was the most fire fatalities that we have ever encountered. We've had, throughout the years, 3 fatalities on 4 separate occasions, but no more than 3 at any one time. So this is definitely our darkest day.
The chief said no working fire alarms were found in the home.
There was heavy damage to the upstairs part of the house. A lot of the debris from the fire had fallen on the children that were in the bedroom. We literally had to dig the first couple of victims out.
Bernard says when he got to the house, his son and Audria had already been taken to the hospital, but his grandkids were still in the home.
The fire department had brought them out and they was laid out on the porch, and it was full. So that did it.
Well, my daughter, it's a sweet family. I love my grandkids, beautiful kids. Derek loves to draw, Ariel likes computer, my daughter likes to travel, and I'm going to miss them.
In Warren, Peggy Sinkovich, 33 News.
Family and friends are continuing to deal with the loss of 6 family members who died in a house fire yesterday morning on Warren's northwest side. A memorial is beginning to form in front of the Dorsey home where significant fire damage can still be seen. From Warren, here's Peggy Sinkovich.
Family members and friends of the Dorsey family continued to struggle today as they began to say goodbye to the 6 who died in Thursday's fire on Warren's northwest side. Derek Dorsey, his fiancée Audria Johnson, their children Derek Jr. and Ariel Dorsey, and nieces Miracle Hewley and Janice Hicks died after the fire broke out in their Lansdowne Avenue home.
Friends, neighbors, they just been overwhelming, and I appreciate it from my heart. Goes out to you guys for doing this for me, for us rather.
The state fire marshal's office determined an unattended charcoal grill caused the fire. A makeshift memorial has been set up in the front of the home. Friends have started placing stuffed animals and flowers there as a way to show their love.
The little girl, I knew her family, and
is it something your kids wanted?
Yeah, the kids wanted to do it. So we got together and we all went in and got the animals together and brought them over.
A Johnson Dorsey Memorial Fund has been set up to help with funeral costs. Donations will be accepted at any Huntington bank. Classmates and softball team members of the children got a chance to meet with grief counselors today so they could discuss their suffering and learn ways to cope with this tragic loss. Counselors were on hand at Jefferson and McGuffey Elementary Schools. School board member Ed Bellino and Jefferson Elementary School principal Steve Shiro say many students took advantage of the counseling, which they believe will be beneficial to them during this tough time. In Warren, Peggy Sinkovich, 33 News.
As if losing 6 members of one family isn't enough, now those left behind must bury the dead. The realities of a tragic fire last week in Warren are hitting home.
The funerals of all 6 will take place later this week, but paying for those funerals is an issue. The cost to bury 6 people, about $30,000. With how the community is helping, here's Peggy Sinkovich.
Local ministers are rallying around the family members of 6 victims who died in a house fire on Warren's northwest side last week. Derek Dorsey, his fiancée Audria Johnson, their children Derek Dorsey Jr. and Ariel Dorsey, and nieces Miracle Hewley and Janice Hicks died after the fire broke out in their Lansdowne Avenue home. The fire appears to be accidental. Ministers from several different churches met at Sterling Williams Funeral Home Tuesday with Daniel Johnson, the father and grandfather of 3 of the victims. The ministers are helping to raise money to pay for the funerals of the victims.
So you want to do something, and we contact our friends. We know Pastor Oaks, we know Pastor Temple, we know good pastors, and these pastors simply go to work and do what they do.
So far, the pastors and members of their congregations have donated about $10,000.
My heart went out when I heard about this happening, and we felt that we wanted to do whatever we could to be a blessing to him and his family.
Johnson says he is overwhelmed by the community's support.
Immediately I said, God, I thank you for caring people, and then when I come into a setting such as this, to see so many other people that care and that concerned, it just, it's just awesome.
The funeral will be here at Believers Christian Fellowship Church on Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. The family says that the public is invited to attend. Anyone who wants to make a donation can do so at any Warren church or by stopping at Huntington Banks and donating to the Johnson Dorsey Fund. In Warren, Peggy Sinkovich, 33 News.
Community support overwhelming today as the people of Warren, all races and economic status, gathered inside the sanctuary.
The funeral services for 6 members of one family who died last week in a fire lasted for well over 2 hours. There were speeches and songs and tears. With what was a very emotional day, here's Peggy Sinkovich.
It was time for the community to say goodbye. Hundreds are here at Believers Christian Fellowship Church in Howland saying goodbye to the 6 who died in last week's tragic house fire on Warren's northwest side.
It's extremely difficult. The city, our fire department, we've never experienced anything of this magnitude in our history. So it's all setting in for us now.
Flowers covered the caskets of Derek Dorsey, his fiancée, Audria Johnson, their kids, Derek Jr. and Ariel, along with nieces, Miracle Hewley and Janice Hicks.
When I received the call on Thursday in Atlanta, my sister Betty had called me, and it felt like somebody pulled my heart out. I couldn't breathe.
During the ceremony that lasted nearly 2.5 hours, family members expressed their thanks to the community for the support and love they have received. Officials at Believers Christian Fellowship Church offered their facility for free, and several local churches and community members also generously donated to help pay for the funerals.
It's something when you lose 2 adult children, but then when you lose 4 young children who really haven't had the opportunity to live their life, it's really sad, and it affects all of us.
This really wrapped our entire community around this sorrowful time, and our community prays for the family and for those that have been left behind.
Family and community members say the memories of the 6 will continue to live on in their hearts forever. In Warren, Peggy Sinkovich, 33 News.